In what is shaping up to be one of the most corrupt administrations ever, the U.S. military has announced that it's looking to now rent space within Trump Tower. So it's looking to lease some space while Donald Trump is president. Now, why would they do that? Why is the Department of Defense going to rent space at Trump Tower? That seems really strange. Well, it turns out that's actually part of their job. They say that CNN reports that the Department of Defense, in order to meet official mission requirements, now has to lease space close to the president. Well, where's the president going to be other than in the White House? Well, when he's away from the White House, he's going to be staying either at Mar-a-Lago or at Trump Tower. Now, this is according to Lieutenant Colonel J.B. Brindle, who's the Defense Department spokesman. He says, quote, "The space is necessary for the personnel and equipment who will support the president at his residence in the building." Now, of course, it does make a little bit of sense for the military to have a presence near the president in case something goes wrong. In fact, what could go wrong is they want to make sure that the president has the nuclear football close to him. Now, I don't know if you punt the nuclear football or, you know what? I don't want to find out. No nuclear football, okay? Let's just try to avoid this. So, Trump, if you're listening or if you come across this or whatever, don't try to start a nuclear war. I'm just saying, it would not be a good idea. It would be tremendously bad. Now, in fact, what it says is that, again, military support for the president, including the military staff assigned to keeping the nuclear football nearby, as I mentioned, requires close proximity to the president. Again, this does make sense. It is logical. So I'm saying that, and that's more the justification as to why the president needs to, the Pentagon needs to have a space that's close. However, at the same time, it kind of feels wrong. Why? Because maybe this money is going to end up back into Donald Trump's pocket. And that's the thing. That's the really messed up thing about this. Now, how much money, you might be asking? Well, according to Jared Horowitz, who works for the company responsible for available commercial space at Trump Tower, the floors available to rent, with the average floor space running between 13,500 feet to 15,500 square feet, costs about $1.5 million a year. Now, Trump Tower, owned by the Trump organization, and of course, Donald Trump has not really given up his business. He's still running his business while he's in the White House. So again, the Defense Department goes in and they rent this floor, as is their duty to do so. And Donald Trump ends up getting paid. It's going to go right into his pocket. That's your tax money. Right into his pocket. He couldn't have engineered it better. Amazing. Now, over the next 4 years, that's going to equal about $6 million. And again, that goes right into Donald Trump's pocket. Is that not incredibly disturbing? And that's also if he decides not to raise the rent. Now, you guys might remember there's a story during the general election where, look, at first, Donald Trump used Trump Tower as his campaign headquarters. Now, while he was self-funding his campaign, he only charged himself $35,000 for rent for, his campaign headquarters. Now, that's in March. Now, in July, after he won the nomination and he started getting these big donors, look what he did. His rent quintupled to $169,758 a month. As soon as somebody else started paying for this, which is the case in this $1.5 million a year to rent out this space for the Pentagon, he jacked up the rent so he could make an extra buck. He found an opportunity to make money. Oh, I'm not paying for it. If I'm not paying for it, I'm going to jack it up so I can make more money. What kind of billionaire does that, by the way? Now, Donald Trump always claimed, "Oh, I'm a billionaire. I'm so rich. I'm so rich." Well, if somebody is so rich, they don't jack up the rent. They don't quintuple the rent as soon as somebody else goes and pays for it. That is absolutely ridiculous. You've got to be kidding me. Look, this is not like any other president. yes, it is true that the military has had to seek similar accommodations, renting out some space or going and getting some space at residences of previous presidents. However, this is the military leasing out office at a business that the president still technically owns. Come on, man. This is monumentally corrupt. Well, you think Donald Trump was going to come in and clean house? You thought he was going to drain the swamp? He is the swamp. He is the swamp. This is a great example of the looting of the Trump administration plans on doing to the rest of the government. Again, this is money that's coming out of your taxes. You fund the Department of Defense. The Defense Department is now going to be funding Donald Trump to the tune of $1.5 million a year. This is insanity. All to enrich a sitting president, who's, of course, using more money. He's using the government, his position as president, to make more money. It's right there. It's blatant. It's right in your face. If you don't see that Donald Trump is just using the presidency to make a buck and to become corrupt, that he is the most corrupt president that we're ever going to have, then you are blind. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.